All right, I'm live. Let me get this camera set up. That might be good. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Oh, headphones. All right. Thank you all checking in, tuning in today. My name is Mychal Prieto, and I am here to teach y'all a 60-minute flow and yin class. The goal is to start off with a little pranayama practice, and then from there we'll go into some strengthening and flowing. And once we get done with that for about 30 minutes, hey Brittany, we're gonna go a few of my favorite yin postures. So I just kind of balance out a little yang, a little yin today. So for this practice, we're gonna start off seated for the pranayama. So if you see between my legs, I've got two blocks there. You could have a pillow or one block, but for the practice, one block at least, or you could always get creative and use like a water bottle or a book or something. And we're gonna use that guide throughout the practice for some support if you need it. Some might not. So again, welcome. If you're joining in Inner Dimension, this is week number 2. We've got a few more classes after mine. I'm super excited for everybody. This has been really, really sweet. All the teachers we've been talking, and we are getting a lot of joy. Just being able to connect with people from all over the world and teach. So I'm looking forward to this class. Let's go ahead and let's begin this guy. So we're gonna start off again seated. I like to come to like a supported hero's pose. So also for this practice, I've switched up the angle. I'm gonna be doing this practice facing the wall here because there's a lot of things that I want us to see kind of from the side as opposed to a head-on view. So for this pranayama practice, I'm just going to be facing you right now because I'm not going to face the wall for this. Okay, so how we're going to begin first is just dropping into a short meditation. And for this meditation, we're going to repeat 3 phrases to ourselves. You can say them out loud, you can repeat them internally, but I was sitting with this last night, and these were kind of the first 3 things that came to mind when I thought about this practice. So let's just go ahead and start off in a nice supportive seat, whatever that might look like, and then you can allow your hands to rest with the palms facing up on the lap. And then if it feels comfortable for you, you can close the eyes, relax the shoulders down the back. Find a slight bit of extension with the chest. So the chest is elevated, the crown of the head is elevated, there's a slight tuck of the chin. So the chin is parallel with the floor. And then think about rooting down through the sacrum, through the base of the spine, and imagining like there was a bungee cord along your spine, and that bungee was slightly drawing upwards through the crown of the head. And as we sit here, we're just going to, again, internally repeat these 3 phrases. And the first one being, I am healthy. The next one, I am love. And the last one, I can handle anything. So in your internally. You can also repeat them out loud. Sometimes hearing yourself speak can be even more powerful. So, I am healthy. I am love. I can handle anything. I am healthy. I am love. I can handle anything. I am healthy. I am love. I can handle anything. Continue repeating those phrases out loud or internally for a few more moments as you breathe. Nice relaxed breath. I am healthy. I am love. I can handle anything. And then begin to let those phrases go. And the pranayama practice that we're going to come into is what's called Nadi Shodhan. So you might be familiar with this practice, you might not be. Here's how it's going to go. So you can open the eyes if the eyes are closed. The index finger and the middle finger, we're going to rest the third eye, the forehead. You're going to have your thumb lightly on the right nostril and your ring finger lightly on the left nostril. So how it's going to go is we're going to begin by closing the left nostril and breathing in through the right for about 4 seconds. We're going to have about a 2-second retention at the top. As you're retaining the inhale, you're then going to close your right and open up the left nostril and breathe out of the left. You'll keep the left nostril open, you'll breathe into the left, you'll retain for 2 seconds, you'll close the left, and then breathe out of the right. So it'll go breathing in through the right, breathing out of the left, breathing in through the left, breathing out of the right. Breathing in through the right nostril, I want you to visualize the color red coming into the right nostril. As you breathe out of the left, visualize that color red coming out of the left nostril. As we breathe in through the left nostril, I want you to visualize a color of gray, so kind of like a storm cloud gray coming in through the left nostril and then out of the right. So a little inspiration from Mr. Kevin here, a practice we did a few weeks back. So we'll go ahead and begin. Let the index and middle finger rest on the forehead. Bring the fingers just lightly outside of the nostril, thumb on the right, ring on the left. And then we'll begin by closing the left nostril and breathing in through the right for 1, 2, 3, 4, retaining, closing the right, opening the left, breathing out for 4, 3, 2, 1. Keeping the right closed, breathing in through the left for 1, 2, 3, 4. Closing the left, breathing out of the right for 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in through the right red for 1, 2, 3, 4. Closing the right, breathing out of the left red, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in through the left gray, 1, 2, 3, 4. Closing the left, breathing out of the right gray, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in through the right for 1, 2, 3, 4. Closing the right, breathing out of the left for 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in through the left for 1, 2, 3, 4. Closing the left, breathing out of the right for 4, 3, 2, 1. A couple more cycles. Breathing in through the right red for 1, 2, 3, 4. Closing the right, breathing out of the left red for 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in through the left gray for 1, 2, 3, 4. Closing the left out of the right gray for 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. Breathing in through the right red for 1, 2, 3, 4. Closing the right, breathing out of the left red for 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in through the left gray for 1, 2, 3, 4. Closing the left, breathing out of the right for 4, 3, 2, 1. And then go ahead and relax the right hand back down. Take a full inhale through the nose. And a full exhale out. And then for the next few moments, just notice the effect of the practice. Breathing in fully through both nostrils and breathing out fully through both nostrils. And then we'll go ahead and come up off of your seat. Slide your pillow or blocks off to the side. You'll keep one near the top of your mat, and then we're going to go ahead and recline onto the back. And once you come onto your back, go ahead, hug and squeeze the knees into the chest. And then find a little rock side to side. And then from here, go ahead and plant the feet down. The knees are kind of stacked over my ankles. I'm going to relax my arms, palms facing the sky. I'm going to lift my shoulders and slide my shoulders down my back to use the floor to help pin my shoulder blades a little more retract, a little more space across the collarbones. From here, take an inhale through the nose as you exhale, reaching the hips up towards the sky. So in this bridge, a little different than the traditional bridge pose that we're used to in asana, where you're coming up into really, really full extension. Here, I want you to keep the hips just a tiny bit lower, but think about keeping the hips in line with the knees all the way down through the shoulders. So you've got one straight line from knees through the hips to the shoulders. And then start to hover your toes off of the floor and place a little more weight into the heels of the feet. So essentially this is kind of like, I like to call this a plank for your glutes here. So just starting to build a little bit of heat here in the posterior chain. And then see if you can, without dragging your feet or moving them, see if you can slightly magnetize your heels back towards your shoulders so that you start to engage in the hamstrings a little bit more. And then re-root the heels down so you find a tiny bit more of the hips. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, soften the hips down to the floor. We'll come into a reclining pigeon. Cross your right ankle top of the left. Reach down and grab the hamstring of the left leg, or you'll grab the shin of the left leg, and then you'll continue to roll onto your back so the head is resting on the floor. You'll find a little bit of dorsiflexion in the right ankle, so the toes are drawing back towards your right knee. And then taking a few breaths here, breathing in a little bit more space to the outer right glutes. And then go ahead and release that. Uncross the right and then switch sides. So left ankle crossing over the right. You'll go ahead, reach down, Grab, hook, and thread either right hamstring or right shin. Make sure you're keeping a little gentle tuck of the chin here so that you're not exposing your neck towards the sky. So keeping a slight tuck, and then go ahead and release that. And go ahead and bring your feet back down to that bridge position. This time have the feet a little bit closer together. So you might even have the big toes and the heels touching and connecting. Take an inhale. As you exhale, you're going to bridge the hips back up towards the sky. You're going to keep the hips lifted here. And then imagine you're lightly squeezing a block or a towel between your inner thighs. So start to energize and wake up the adductors, the inner thighs here. And if this feels like it's plenty of work, stay here. Otherwise, start to hover your right foot off of the floor just a couple of inches. So now all of the weight is in the left heel. You're still staying really, really light on the left toes and the left ball of the foot. And then go ahead and switch if you're with me. Place the right heel down and then hover the left foot off of the floor. And really rooting strongly down through the right heel. If you're with me, go ahead and relax the left foot down. Take one more inhale to bridge the hips up towards the sky. Squeeze the glutes together firmly and then soften the hips down. Give a nice hug and squeeze, knees to chest. And then we'll find a little bit of a rock up and down the spine here a few times. You'll come all the way up, and then we're going to transition into a tabletop position. And when you come into your tabletop position, we'll have shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. We're going to take 4 rounds of cat and cow here. So make sure the arms are staying straight. Take an inhale. Keep the chin tucked as you arch the tail. And then on the exhale, empty the breath. Pull the navel, the spine towards the sky as you relax the head. And then again, inhale. Slight tuck of the chin, arms staying straight. And then exhale, lead the motion. Navel drawing up through the spine. Inhale for 2 more. And exhale, get a little bit rounder. Inhale once more. And then exhale, round in the spine. And inhale to a flat back. And then what you're going to do is step the left foot outside of your left hand. From here, you're going to lean into the right hand. You'll bend the right knee a little bit more and reach back with your left arm. Grab the top of your right foot and then lean back so you spread the chest wide. You wrap and roll the left shoulder down the back. A little bit of extension in the chest. One more breath in. And then gently lower and release your right leg. Bring your left hand back inside of your left foot. Step your left knee back, and then we'll switch sides. Right foot plants outside of the right hand. You'll bend your left knee. You'll reach back with the right hand. Grab the top of the foot as you lean into your left hand. Reach and roll your right shoulder back. So you're trying to shine your heart and your sternum up towards the sky as best as you can. Just coming into a little quad stretch and opener with a little. Take one more breath in, and then relax and soften that left foot back down. Plant your right hand back inside of your right foot. Bring your right knee back to a tabletop position, and then from here come into a downward facing dog. And then you can widen the stance of your downward facing dog for this first one. Find a little bit of a pedal with the feet here. So bending the knees one at a time as you drop the opposite heel. Staying strong in the arms, pushing evenly through the inner and the outer hands. If there's a tendency to hyperextend in the elbows, find a soft little bend there in the elbows. Good, and then from here, pause the pedal. Take an inhale to deeply bend the knees, lift the heels, look forwards, and then on the exhale, step the feet to the top of the mat, come into a fold with the feet about hip width. Let the crown of the head shine towards the floor. Take an inhale, lengthen out the spine, and then exhale to fold. Inhale, circle the arms towards the sky, reaching tall, maybe leaning back slightly, and then exhale, bring the hands to prayer. And pausing here at the top with the hands in prayer, slight tuck of the chin, standing with integrity, rooting down through the heels. So you're going to take a few breaths here, inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling. I'm just going to make sure that my microphone is on. I hope it is. I hope my headphones are connected. Keep breathing here, inhaling and exhaling. Good. And then we'll start to move a little bit here. So take an inhale, circle the arms to the sky, and then exhale to fold. Good. Inhale, lengthen out, and exhale, plant the hands, step the feet back, and immediately come into a downward facing dog. Taking a few deep breaths here, lengthening through the arms from fingertips to hips. And then just noticing how your downward facing dog is feeling here. Give a little pedal out to the feet. Awesome. And then from here, we're going to start to flow a little bit. So take an inhale. You're going to reach your right leg up towards the sky. Open up the hip for a moment. And then on the exhale, right knee to the left elbow. Inhale, reach the right leg back up to the sky. Exhale, left elbow. 2 more times. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, cross it to the left. Inhale, reach it up. And exhale to the left. Good. Inhale, reach the right leg up. And downward facing dog on the exhale. Inhale, shift forwards to a push-up plank position. And then exhale to a downward facing dog. Left side, lift the left leg up on an inhale, open up the hip at the top, and then exhale, left knee to the right elbow. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale to the right. 2 more. Inhale, reach it up. And exhale to the right. Inhale, reach it up. And exhale to the right. Inhale, lengthen the left leg. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, bend the knees, look forwards, and then exhale, step to the top or hop. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale to fold. Inhale, circle the arms up towards the sky, and exhale, hands to prayer center of the chest. Good. Inhale, circling up. Exhale to fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to a downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, reach the right leg back up towards the sky. And exhale to the left elbow. 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, down dog. Inhale to a plank. Exhale to a dog. Left leg lifts, inhale. Exhale to the right elbow. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale to the right. Inhale, reach it up once more. And exhale to the right. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, bend the knees, look forwards. And exhale, step or hop to the top. Inhale, lengthen out. And exhale, fold. Inhale, circling up. And exhale, hands to prayer. We'll continue. Inhale, circling up. Exhale to fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands to a downward facing dog.
Inhale, reach the right leg up. And exhale to the left elbow, cross. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale to cross. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale to a plank. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale to the right elbow. One more time, inhale and exhale. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, set the left foot down. Good. Pause in a downward facing dog. Taking a few deep breaths to recap. Just noticing any heat in the body. Maybe a slightly elevated heart rate. Good. From here, go ahead and bend the knees, lift the heels, look forwards as you inhale, and then exhale, come to the top of your mat in a forward fold. Inhale, lengthen out the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle up and rise.
And exhale, bring the hands to prayer at the center of the chest. Good, and then just taking a few breaths here, standing nice and tall. Eyes can be closed, shoulders relaxed, slight tuck of the tail, slight engagement down the legs, rooting through the heels. I am healthy. I am love. I can handle anything. From here, go ahead and release the arms. And then we're going to move on. So you'll go ahead and lean into your right foot. You're going to bend your left knee and hug and squeeze that in towards the chest. Good. And it might help to find a drishti for the eyes, a focal point. Try and get as long as you can in your right leg. So hug the right hip in. Feel engagement from the heel all the way up the right glutes. And then you're going to slowly keep your left leg as it is as you reach the arms up and overhead. So palms turning to face one another, reaching and spreading through the fingers. And if it feels too much to hold overhead, you're going to bring the hands to prayer. From here, either the hands in prayer or the arms reaching up overhead. You're going to take an inhale through the nose and then warrior 3 on the exhale, sending your left leg back and tilting the torso ahead. And then for the eyes. Kicking long through your left heel. Left leg is energized and the left toes pointed straight down. Core is staying engaged and the breath is helping to calm the nervous system down, finding balance in the right foot, trying to not clench and grip in the right toes, but staying strong through the core and the glutes. Now take one more breath in and then landing slowly in a crescent pose as you exhale. Good. From here, hands are in prayer, our arms are up and overhead. You're going to take an inhale, and then on the exhale, you're going to straighten out both legs. So here at the top of the movement, try and root through the ball of the right foot, and then get long through the back leg. If you can find engagement in the left glute and the right quads, great. So you're going to stand up nice and tall with strength and endurance in the legs. For either keeping the arms overhead or keeping the hands in prayer, we're going to move through a series of split squats. So what that's like, we're going to move with the breath. You're going to inhale, bending the knees, dropping and tapping your left knee down to the floor, and then exhale, root to rise. Inhale, lowering, and exhale, pressing to stand. Inhale to lower. You can see my right knee stacked over my right foot at the bottom. Exhale, standing tall. Inhale. Spine staying perpendicular. Inhale and exhale. Inhaling and exhaling, engaging the legs at the top. 3 more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Straighten out both legs. If the arms are reached up overhead, bring them to prayer. And then pivot the left heel flat. And then you're going to turn your toes to face the left side of your space. So in a wide-legged stance. We're going to come into Prasarita here. Legged fold. So go ahead with the outer edges of the feet parallel and wide. You're going to take an inhale, circle the arms up to the sky. And then exhale to fold. Bringing the hands underneath the shoulders. And then letting the crown of the head relax. Taking a few deep breaths in and breaths out. Trying to shift a little more weight forwards to the toes so that the heels are in line with the hips. On your next inhale, come up to the fingertips and flatten the back. Starting to root down through the feet. So starting from the bottom, outer edge of the foot is rooting down. There's a slight lift in the arch. Right toes are pointed slightly ahead on an angle. And the right leg is staying long, straight, and strong. From here you can see the left knee is stacked over my left ankle as opposed to behind. So I'm bending deeply. Good. Rooting through the left heel. I'm opening up my sternum to the left side of the space, but at the same time, my eyes and my gaze are over the left fingertips. Good. And then here's a good little suggestion. Sink a little bit deeper than you want to. Good. And then energizing through the legs, and let that energy root into the midsection so you're finding a nice stable engagement. Shoulders relaxing down the back, crown of the head growing tall. Take one more breath in, and then exhale to straighten out the left leg. We're going to shift into triangle pose. So go ahead and heel toe that right foot a little bit closer if you'd like to. On the inhale, send the hips back, reach the left arm ahead. Here's where you might use a block to place on the outer left foot. And then go ahead and come into a triangle pose. Reaching the right arm up towards the sky and then finding a nice place for your eyes to lock into. Taking about 4 to 6 deep breaths here. Still rooting firmly through the outer foot. Nothing's changed there. And now you're pushing a little more into the ball mound of the left foot as you wrap and roll your rib cage up towards the sky. Take one more full breath in, take one more full breath out, and then bring the gaze down in front of the left toes. We're going to transition into half moon here. So you might have your block, you might not. Otherwise, you're going to go ahead and start by bringing your right hand down onto your right hip. And then find a place for the eyes to lock into. Take an inhale as you lean forwards and bend your left knee. And then exhale, go ahead and hover that right leg off the floor, parallel to the floor if you can find that, and then reach the right arm towards the sky if that's available. Finding a place for the vision to lock into. Notice you're still breathing here and integrating as smooth and as steady of a breath as possible. From here, take one more inhale. And then land softly, warrior two, exhale. Reverse your warrior, inhale. And then cartwheel the hands down to the floor on the exhale. Step your left foot back into a downward facing dog. And then go ahead and pedal out the feet. Take a couple of breaths to recalibrate. And we're facing the back of the space now. Good, and then pause the pedal here. Good, take an inhale to bend the knees, look forwards, lift the heels, and then exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Lengthen out the spine, inhale, and fold on the exhale. Circle the arms towards the sky, inhale, and exhale, palms to prayer, exhale. Taking a breath in, taking a breath out. I am healthy. I am love. I can handle anything. Go ahead and begin to lean into the left foot and hug the right knee up and into the chest. And take a moment to find your balance. Take a moment to find some engagement strongly in the left leg. So left hips are hugging in. See how long you can get in your left leg from the heel all the way up the hips through the crown of the head. And then keep the right leg as it is and either bring the hand to prayer, level 1, 2, or reach the arms up overhead, level 3. Core staying engaged, so we're not in the back bend here, but you're softly bringing down the frontal rib cage towards the front of the hips to find some engagement in the midsection, and that's what's going to help to keep the lower body connected to the upper body. Take one inhale, and then on the exhale, warrior 3. The right leg sends back. Again, arms could be reached overhead for a bit more engagement, or hands can be in prayer. You're finding the drishti for the eyes, and once you land in the pose, reintegrate as smooth and as steady of a breath as you can. You can handle anything. Energize through the right heel. Take one more inhale, and then land in crescent pose on the exhale. Either keep the arms reaching up overhead or bring them in prayer. Take an inhale, sit deeply, sink deeply, and then press to stand and straighten out the legs. We'll move through the split squats. Take an inhale, drop the right knee down, lightly tap, and then exhale out, engaging the legs at the top. Inhale to lower, exhale to stand. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Continue moving with your breath. Right glutes are engaged at the top, left thigh is engaged at the top. 2 reps, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, and exhaling. If the arms are overhead, go ahead and bring them to prayer. Spin and drop your right heel flat, and then pivot the toes to face again the left side of your space. Have the feet nice and wide, and the outer edges of your feet one another. We'll come into a second prasarita. Take an inhale, circle up. And then exhale to fold. This time taking any variation that you would like to. So the first time we had hands under the shoulders. If you'd like to come into tripod headstand, feel free to do so. If you'd like to hook the big toes or outer edges of the feet with the hands and softly bend the elbows wide, feel free. Or you can interlace the hands at the lower back over and trying to straighten out the arms. Deeply breathe
you've got tripod headstand, slowly begin to lower back down. And if you've got the hook of the outer edges of the feet or the hands interlaced, go ahead and
And how steady can you make your breath, even in a posture and position that requires more engagement? And can you remind yourself, I can handle anything. It's just a pose. We will transition. We're not going to hold this forever, but for the next few breaths, can you sink a little bit deeper? Can you engage in the legs a little bit more? Can you engage in your core a little bit more? And can you engage with the pose a little bit more mentally? You'll take one more inhale and straighten out the right leg. Exhale, setting up for triangle pose, maybe adjusting the back foot in. Take an inhale, hips go back, arms reach forward, right hand, and then exhale, come into the pose. Staying strong and straight through the legs, reaching the left arm up straight towards the sky, and wrapping and rolling the rib cage back. If the right hand is on a block or the shin, try and be as you can on that right hand. Left hand pointed to the left side of your room and the left glutes engaged, and if it feels appropriate and available, you can reach that left arm up towards the sky. Taking a few breaths here, leaning back in the left shoulder, a drishti for the eyes, engaged with the breath. Take one more inhale, and then land warrior two on the exhale. Inhale, reach back and reverse, and exhale, cartwheel the hands to the floor. Step the right foot back into a downward facing dog, and go ahead and pull out the feet. And taking a few breaths here. In through the nose, out through the nose. And then we're going to go ahead and transition here. Inhale one more time, downward facing dog. And then exhale, soften the knees down to the floor. From here, we're going to come into our first yin pose called deer pose. So you're going to go ahead and bring your right leg and shin forwards, kind of like pigeon pose. You're going to lean into the right hip, and we'll start off adjusting your right leg. So right shin is going to be parallel with the top of your mat, and your right thigh is going to be pointed straight out ahead. Your left knee is going to be bent at 90 degrees, and your left shin is going to be parallel with the outer edge of your mat here. And then go ahead and bring your right hand outside of your right hip to push the spine nice and tall. And then magnetize your right hip back. Take an inhale. And then exhale, start to hinge and lean out forwards. And then just like pigeon pose, you might make your way all the way down towards the floor.
You might even grab a block and rest the block underneath the forehead. And we're going to be here for about 2 minutes. And for this yin practice that we're going to finish up with, breath rhythm that really helps to drop your nervous system into a parasympathetic state is inhale for either 3 to 4 to 5 seconds, and as you exhale, doubling the length of your inhale. So if you're breathing in for 4 seconds, try exhaling for 8 seconds. Breathing into wherever you're feeling sensation in the body. And using the inhales to create more space. So every time you breathe in, you feel as if more space is being created in the body, more expansion is taking place. And on the exhales, that's when the body and the nervous system really get to relax. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. We'll here for about another 30 seconds. Finding stillness with the pose, stillness in the body. Go ahead and take one more full breath in, full breath out. And then very slowly start to crawl the hands back up and in. Re-lengthen the spine towards the sky. From here we're going to transition into the other side in a little windshield wiper motion. So you're going to rotate over to the left, come through the midline, and then we'll transition right into the other side. So now the left shin parallel with the top of the mat. You've got a 90-degree bend in your right knee and in your left knee. And then from here, we'll go ahead and set the hands, left hand outside of the hip. Take an inhale. And then exhale, start to fold forwards, hinging at the hips. And again, maybe coming all the way down to the floor or relaxing a block underneath the head. And we'll be here for 2 minutes. Breathing in through the nose and breathing out. Breathing in through the nose and lengthening the exhales. Again, breathing into wherever you're feeling sensation in the body. For most, this is going to be on the outer left hip. You're here for less than a minute. See how smooth you can draw the inhale. See where you can find expansion in the body. See how long you can make those exhales, really lengthening out. And take your last few breaths here. One more full breath in.
And slowly start to crawl the hands back up towards the hips. Take a moment to straighten out the spine. And then we're going to come into the next pose. So from here, go ahead and spiral out to the right. And then we're going to come into a wide-legged fold here. So widen the legs. It feels comfortable. And another really important component of yin and postures of yin are that you're not going to the very depth of your edge and end range or sensation immediately. Easing into it and using the breath to help get you a little bit deeper and deeper over time. So here in this wide-legged position, you might have a block out ahead of you to maybe relax the forehead on. Make sure that the toes are pointed straight up towards the sky. You're not letting the outer edges of the feet roll in, but instead you're wrapping the outer edges of the feet back towards the hips so you create a little more space in the inner thighs. Bring the hands out in front of you. Take a full breath in, get tall, and then on the exhale, start to fold forwards to any extent that feels comfortable. And if you're noticing that there's already a lot of sensation just holding this position with an upright spine, you'll stay there for some breaths. You might stay there for the whole posture. But just noticing the amount that your body is speaking to you. So again, if there's a lot of sensation just standing tall, upright spine, stay there for maybe the whole pose or maybe a minute into it before you start to hinge out and get a little bit deeper. Otherwise, using your breath as you inhale, try and grow your spine a little bit taller. And as you exhale, you might a little more space and lengthen the spine and the inner thighs. Breathing into where you're feeling sensation. And over time, if there is a block underneath the forehead, you might lower that. But again, just noticing where the edge is and not going too deep too fast. In this position and posture, I like to think about breathing into my lower back and breathing into my inner thighs. So visually, I am sensing those two areas expanding and growing wider as I breathe in. And then on the exhale, allowing the torso to get a little bit heavier. Continuing with that 1 to 2 inhale to exhale breath ratio. And take your last breath in. Your last breath out. And then as you begin to inhale, start to crawl the hands back in towards the hips, re-lengthening your spine. If you have a block in front of you, you can set that off to the side. And then go ahead. We're going to turn to face the front of the space in the front of the room. And we'll come into staff pose for a moment here. So legs are going to be straight, hands can be behind you or hands just outside of the hips. I like to bring my fingertips behind me and push down through the fingers as I lengthen my spine, toes pointed up towards the sky. We're going to come into Janu or half butterfly here. So you're going to go ahead and bend your left knee. You're going to bring the sole of your left foot to the right inner thigh. And keeping the right toes pointed up and the outer edge of your right foot wrapped back, go ahead and reach the arms up on an inhale, and then start to fold out forwards on the exhale.
And if there is the foot or the shin or calf available for the hands, you can use that as a very light hook. You can also bring the hands outside of the leg, or if it feels like it's deep enough, the spine a little more upright with a slight hinge and lean forwards. So find a depth that feels easeful to begin with, and then remember, not going too deep too fast. So kind of easing your way into the posture and allowing that 1 to 2 inhale to exhale ratio style of breathing to allow you to go a little bit deeper and deeper each cycle of breath. In this posture and position, I like to think about the expansion taking place on the left side of my lower back and behind my right leg. That might be a little bit different for you depending on where you feel sensation, where you're feeling that quote unquote stretch. We're here for about 4 to 6 more deep breaths. Inhaling to create space. And exhaling to deepen and soften. Last few. Take one more inhale. One more exhale. And then slowly begin to release and crawl the hands back in, taking your time to come back up to an upright spine. And then hand outside of the leg, left leg, point the knee up, and then gently go ahead and straighten that left leg back out. And then we'll come right into it on the other side, bending your right knee, sole of the right foot to the left inner thigh. Making sure that the left toes are pointed straight up, the outer edge of your left foot is wrapping back. Take an inhale, reaching up through the fingertips, and then exhale, start to hinge and lean out to your extent. Again, you might hook the foot. If you've got much more depth, you could place a block at the sole of the left foot and wrap the hands around the block. If the foot's not available, you can grab the ankle or the shin and calves. And this pose translates to head to knee pose. So the forehead and the head are aiming towards the knee that's out in front. And that's just to make sure that the spine is staying in line with the leg. Once you find your depth, start to ease into it with the breath. Again, expanding on the inhales and softening on the exhales. Breathing in deeply, slowly, and breathing out even slower, even longer. Continuing here for another 4 to 6 breaths. Last few cycles. One more inhale. One more exhale.
towards the hips, taking your time to realign the spine. Right hand outside the right leg, point it up, straighten it out, and then start to shift toward your mat, and we'll come down onto your back, hugging and squeezing the knees into the chest. Find a gentle rock side to side. And then curl the forehead up to meet the knees. Give everything in your body a big squeeze. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Retain the inhale. Squeeze a little bit harder, every muscle in your body. And then exhale. Release everything down to the floor. Taking a moment here to just find your final position of relaxation in Shavasana, taking up space with the legs, taking up space with the arms, rolling the shoulders down the back, allow the palms to turn to face the sky. And then beginning to let go and release any control of the breath. And letting the breath just take a natural shape. Allowing the toes to relax. Soles of the feet to be receptive and relaxed. The calves, the knees, the shins, soft. you've got the time and the space to relax here a little bit longer, please feel free to do so. Stay in Shavasana for as long as feels great for your body. Otherwise, you can start to make your way up and taking your time to roll onto the side and coming up into a final position seated at the top of your mat. And once you come up to the top of your mat, go ahead and bring the hands to prayer at the center of the chest. Soften the eyes, find a slight tuck of the chin. Hips heavy, crown growing towards the sky. Just taking a moment to honor yourself and give thanks to your body for allowing you to move through this practice with ease and with effort. A moment of gratitude for taking the time out of your day to practice and give back to yourself physically and mentally. And one more time, internally or externally repeating, I am healthy, I am love, and I can handle anything. And take a final inhale and exhale. Bowing to you, thank you much for your practice. Thanks for being in. Sorry if the reception was a bit spotty there. I hope this comes out smooth. Thanks for all of you for checking in and staying in. Love you. Be well, be healthy, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.